Welcome to Facebook in 1 hour. My name is Paul Teague, Digital Development Manager at Cumbria Chamber of Commerce. And coming up in the next 60 minutes or so, why you could be sitting on a Facebook time bomb. This is the most common mistake that people who are using Facebook make. It's a deadly mistake. You can put it right now. You couldn't in the old days. By the old days, I mean about 3 years ago, but you can put it right if you've made this mistake. So I'll tell you what that is. I'm going to talk about deploying the Facebook Vanity Technique for great SEO, search engine optimization. We'll talk about the must-have reasons that you must use Facebook in your business. If you're on the fence with Facebook and you think, oh, it's really not for me, this, I'm not sure about it, I'm going to give you 3 reasons why, as a business, you must use Facebook. We'll also have 5 great tips for powering up your Facebook business page, and then as I'm going along, I'll just keep dropping in tips, resources, techniques to help to make you a Facebook pro. Now, just as a reminder, I know people learn in different ways. The slides and the webinar replay video is going to be available to you within 24 hours of this live presentation. So I have remembered to press the record button. First thing tomorrow morning before I go into the office, I'm going to process the video for you. I'm going to put it on a resources page which I've created, and then you will get an automated email 24 hours after we finish tonight, and it will have all the links that you need in. So it takes some processing time, but within 24 hours you'll get the slides and you'll get the webinar presentation. And just to let you know, I've actually added some extra information to the slides. So there's a lot of additional information on the slide, so do look out for those, please. Okay, what I wanted to do this evening is, I know that we've got a lot of people on with different Facebook experience, so I just wanted to make sure that we get some quick wins in for everybody, whether you've been doing Facebook for a long time or whether you're completely new to it. And what I'm going to do throughout the webinar is, sometimes you'll see me going to some basic stuff, and then you'll see me going to some more advanced stuff. Now, if you know the basic stuff, that's fine. Stay with me, because we will be mixing it up throughout the presentation. But because we've got so many skills levels on the webinar today, I just want to make sure there's a bit of something for everyone. So the quick wins, hopefully, will be useful to you whether you've been on Facebook for years or whether you're just completely new to it. Now, the first thing that I wanted to point out to you is, you'll have seen many people, if you use Facebook personally, you'll have seen these posts popping up every now and then with somebody saying, you know, if you click this button, that button, and the next button, the vase will fall off somebody's mantelpiece. You know, these scares that go round. You know, if you click this button, everybody will see your personal photos. And people pass these things around without ever checking them on Facebook, and they all panic, and they're all doing these things, and what's a scam and what's for real. So the first thing that I want to give you in the quick win section is a great site called hoaxslayer.com, and you can check that out while you're listening to the webinar. Hoaxslayer.com will basically tell you whether this is just another hoax and you're being conned, or it will let you know whether it's something that you actually need to take some notice of. And Hoaxslayer is just really good at this. It doesn't just do Facebook hoaxes, by the way. It does the Twitter hoaxes, email hoaxes, and all sorts. So what I would recommend you do, if you see somebody reposting something saying, beware, click this button, click that button, and do this, and you'll be safe, just do a sense check on hoaxslayer.com and make sure that you're not being drawn into some kind of a con. It's a very, very good site to have on your favorites, Hoaxslayer. Quick win number 2. If you struggle with graphics, or you're a bit strapped for cash and you can't afford to get graphics designers to make lovely social media or Facebook covers, or you see these beautiful graphics that people keep posting on Facebook and you don't know how to make them, let me recommend a marvelous site to you, Canva.com. Canva.com. I use this virtually every day, and all of the chamber graphics, all of my personal graphics are all made using Canva. Now, Canva is free to use. Very, very occasionally, depending on if you use their photographs, you may find if you use their photography, just for the rights to use that photography, you might have to pay $1 to use an image. But most of the time it's free, and actually, really, for copyright reasons, the best thing to do when you're creating banners and images is to use your own images, because you know they're copyright free. So, Canva.com, check it out now. What that will help you to do is, it will help you to create the banners for your Facebook page, so that the banners are a certain size. Canva will create a canvas area for you without you having to get all geeky and techy. It will make it to the correct size for Facebook. and it will make it completely easy. There's no tech, no Photoshop, none of this cropping nonsense or anything like that. It's completely easy in Canva. The other great thing that Canva will allow you to do is it will allow you to make graphics that are beautifully sized for Facebook. So if you've ever posted an image on Facebook and it's chopped somebody's head off, maybe it's chopped the boss's head off, and that's not really very good for diplomatic reasons, then you need to be sizing your images correctly. And the joy of Canva is that it will just let you, in a very non-techy way, create images that are beautifully sized for social media. So that is canva.com. And the final quick win for now, and I hope these are useful for everybody. When I'm doing training on Facebook, a lot of people say to me, I've got this particular problem and I can't find anybody on Facebook to help me with it. There is a brilliant post which is made on a blog that I highly recommend to you actually. It's postplanner.com. It's one of the two sources that I go to for my up-to-date Facebook marketing information, postplanner.com. But if you navigate to that page, that is quite simply the best resource that I have ever seen to find out how to contact Facebook. Now, it doesn't just give you one telephone number. It actually goes through a whole list of problems that you might be experiencing on Facebook, and it will tell you where you need to get support for that particular problem. Now, if you've ever tried to raise Facebook, and to be fair to them, they are much better than they were. How long have I been on Facebook? Since about 2008, 2009 probably. When you tried to contact Facebook, it just used to go into a void, into a black hole. These days they are much better at getting back to you, but it still helps to know where to get that support. So that is a brilliant web post. And remember, you do get the slides after this presentation within 24 hours of the presentation. So if you miss anything, don't worry about it. You'll be able to check it when the slides come. But postplanner.com also is a great source of Facebook information. Okay, let's move on to this number one problem with Facebook, why you could be sitting on a Facebook time bomb. This is one of the biggest mistakes made on Facebook, and I've taught a lot of Facebook classes for the Chamber of Commerce now, and it virtually every session this comes up because people are confused about it. And people set their Facebook accounts up for business in the wrong way, and this could be very, very important. If you've got this wrong, it could be very, very important, particularly if you are a business. You might actually lose your business page if you've done this wrong. So let's just clarify the difference between a personal profile and a business account. A personal profile is where you share pictures of the family. It's where you share videos of piano playing cats and all the funny stuff, or where you might take a photograph of your dinner and post that on Facebook. It's for your personal stuff. It's for your friends and family. And the way that you know that is that people will friend you. You will add friends to a personal profile. Now, if you're not adding friends and it's a business account, the chances are you're doing it wrong. Because if you're using Facebook for business, you should be collecting likes. That's a business page. So if people like it, it's a business page. If people friend you, then it's a personal profile. And the rules of Facebook say that you mustn't use a personal profile for business. In addition, you should only have one personal account. Now, I know why people do this and why people make this mistake. This is the most common mistake on Facebook because people are scared that when they have a personal profile and a business profile, they're scared that somehow people are going to find their personal information on Facebook when they're only coming looking for the business information. Now, in the slides that I have given you, or I will be giving you in 24 hours time, I've shown you the settings that you need to use on Facebook, your personal settings, to make sure that your personal profile is locked down so that that doesn't happen. But why people get confused with this is they think, well, hang on, if my business page is connected to my personal profile, people are going to be able to see both of them. That is not the case. They are completely separated. The only reason that you can see them all, I've got about 10 pages connected to my account. The only reason that you can see them all is because you are the administrator of those pages. So this is the reason that people get into a fix with these accounts. So So if you look at the Facebook rules on the screen there, Facebook's very clear about this. You mustn't provide false personal information on Facebook. That means you've got to use your proper name for your personal profile. You will not create more than one personal account, and you will not use your personal timeline primarily for your own commercial gain. That means don't use it for business. It says use a Facebook page for such purposes. Now you have agreed to this. Every time when you sign up for Facebook, you've agreed to these terms and conditions, which is why Facebook won't hesitate to pull your account if you have broken those rules. And believe me, I've done a lot of training around the county, and virtually every session I meet somebody who's got themselves in this fix. So in very simple terms, it's likes for business, it's friends for personal. And here is a description of the difference between personal profiles and business profiles, but it boils down to, are you friending people? That's personal. Are you liking? That's a business page. So what happens if you've made this biggest mistake on Facebook? Well, in the old days, and as I say, when I'm talking about social media, the old days are about 3 or 4 years ago. In the old days, what Facebook tended to do was just swipe in there. They'd see maybe you'd got over your 5,000 friend limit, and they'd just pull the account. That was it. Game over. They'd just pull the account and lock it. For a couple of years now, they've been much more gentle about that, and they will now let you migrate your personal profile that's set up for business into a business profile. And I've put the link on the screen there. If you are in that fix and you've set up your page incorrectly, then you can migrate from a personal profile to a business profile. It will just move over and everything will be Facebook legal. You'll be good to go. So that is the crucial link that you need. Now, something else that you might have done is that you might find that you've got duplicate pages. Maybe you set up one page, didn't know what you were doing, you came back to it later and created another page, and now you've maybe got 50 on one page, 200 on another page, and actually you'd quite like to merge them. You can do that too. There are some provisos with that, in that you have to have your pages on the same topic. So if one of your business pages is on the subject of ballet and the other page is on the subject of flower arranging, Facebook will not let you merge those pages because the topics aren't the same. But if the topics are the same and you just simply have ended up with 2 stray pages, then you can merge them. And if you have a look at the image on the screen just there, you'll see that you can choose the pages that you'd like to merge. You can actually do it with multiple pages if you've got that many pages, but you need to always keep in mind that the top page in that list is going to be the mothership, if you want to call it that, the page that survives, and the bottom page is going to be the one that disappears and gets merged and incorporated into the other page. Now once again, if you need to merge pages, I've put the link on the slides just there, but also you can get to it from the general settings, from the settings link on your Facebook page. Okay, so why use Facebook and social media anyway? And again, when I'm doing training for the Chamber of Commerce, I know that a lot of people come and say, oh, I've been given this job. I've been given the job of running social media for the company. And I always read between the lines when people tell me that, because what that generally means is I'm doing this and I don't really want to do it. Or the boss feels like we need to be doing this and none of us really know what we're doing. So let me just give you 3 compelling reasons why any business needs to be on Facebook and social media. It's really, really important part of your business strategy. So if you are cynical about it, if you think that people just mess around sharing silly videos on Facebook, you're completely wrong, and it's very, very important part of your business strategy. Now, just take a look at Facebook's vital statistics on the screen there. 1.23 billion daily active users. So these are the latest figures from the Facebook newsroom. These figures are phenomenal. Now, I've been on Facebook for a long time now, and it's what I've watched building, this is really interesting, is the number of mobile users. 1.15 billion mobile users. The mobile users are nearly the same now as the kind of daily active users, you know, people who are using it across all platforms. Now that's very, very interesting, because those mobile users, for those of us who've been following Facebook for some time, those numbers have really shot up in the last 2 years, and this really is something that you've got to take account of in your business. Mobile is absolutely critical in your business now. So we've got 1.86 billion monthly active users. That's a phenomenal number. and then 1.74 billion mobile monthly active users. Now, I always say to businesses, I take it that if you had 1.23 billion people coming through the doors of your business, I'm taking it you're going to be a little bit overrun with business. I'm taking it you're going to be running to keep up. There's not very many businesses could take that amount of business. Now, clearly you're not going to get 1.23 billion customers from Facebook, but let's face it, you only need a little share of that in your business. Most of us don't need very much of that. We just need a little bit of that to help boost our business. And so what I'm going to be helping you with in this presentation and with the slides that you'll get after it is getting your little piece of that action. That's what we're after. We're not going to get all of it, but we can certainly get our share of it. So the first most compelling reason to be on Facebook is that if you're a brand new business, if it's day one of your business and you're just starting, one of the first jobs you're going to have to do, as well as getting the desk chair and the new desk and the new laptop and the headed notepaper, if that's what you want to have in your business, you're going to have to get a website. Everybody knows you need to be on the web now, and there's not a business that won't benefit nowadays from having a web presence. So your first challenge is, how do I make a website? How do I get myself on the web? And then you're instantly into geeky things. You've got to talk to geeks who can make websites for you. And then it's a bit like going to have your car fixed. When you go to talk to people who make websites, you're there thinking, scratching your head, thinking, I don't know what they're talking about. I know I need a website, and I know this is going to cost me. But on Facebook, we can create a web presence for our business in 2 minutes flat. 2 minutes, and we could be on the web, on Facebook, where 1.3 billion people hang out. Now, you could not have said that 10 years ago in the early days of the web. That is a phenomenal prospect for any business, to be able to put your business online in front of all those customers in such a small amount of time. So clearly it's best practice to have that website if you are in business, but if it's day one of your business, you're probably going to be strapped for cash. You may have been made redundant. You may have lost your job. If you just need to get going and start getting to business and get people sharing what you're doing in your business, get that Facebook business page up as fast as you can. It'll take you 2 minutes, and you can come to the website when you're ready for it, when you've got time and when maybe you've got some work coming in. You can get that website built then. Compelling reason number 3, we've already talked about this, that you need to be on mobile nowadays. If you're not on mobile, then you're going to be regarded the same way as we all have a little titter about yellow pages nowadays. Have you seen the yellow pages? I mean, it used to be good as a doorstop, but it's only good for a little fan now when the weather gets hot. It's so thin, it's easily lost among the pamphlets that come through the letterbox. Now, we all have a little giggle about that with yellow pages, but let me warn you that if you're not mobile friendly in your business, if you don't think mobile across the board now, then we'll all be giggling at your website in a year or so's time because we can't access your services on mobile. Now, you saw those numbers on Facebook. Those numbers tell a really interesting story. They tell me that mobile is overtaking laptops and computers, and I work with a lot of businesses around the county, and when we do Google Analytics work, I'm talking to many businesses now who are getting 60% of their web traffic on mobile phones. So we've hit that tipping point now. The other thing about this is that Google will penalize you now if your website does not perform well on mobile. The reason for that is that Google knows that most people, or many people, are looking at your websites, your business presence through mobile devices, and frankly, if you give them an awful experience, in very simple terms, Google's going to drop you down those search engines, because if Google doesn't return great search results, then Google will go the way of MySpace and Friends Reunited. So Facebook gets you on mobile phones fast and easy without any expense or any techie nonsense. Finally, social media, and Facebook particularly in this case, will give you a wonderful SEO, search engine optimization boost. Now, you've got to get some things right. I'm going to talk to you about some of the things that are involved in getting the SEO right on your Facebook business page. But this is actually something that I stumbled across by accident, in that I was doing the usual thing, searching for myself online to see how I was doing in the search engines, and I realized that my Facebook and social media presence was sometimes coming up higher than my own websites. Now, the reason for that is, or a very simple reason for that is, Facebook has 1.3 billion users. It has massive, massive amounts of traffic, more traffic than you or I could ever pay for, without having millions of dollars in the bank. So if you optimize your Facebook profile correctly for your business and for your niche, whatever it is, floristry, cycles, flowers, whatever it is that you do, then you will find quite quickly that your Facebook business page profile will come up high in the search engines. Now, here's another reason why you shouldn't use your personal profile. Personal profiles most of the time are locked down, unless you've got all your settings wrong. They're locked down so that the search engines can't find them. Whereas, by default, Facebook business pages are what we call public, which means the search engines can index them, and that means that you can be found very easily on Facebook. Now, if you don't know anything about SEO, if you're completely stuck when it comes to SEO, again, a Facebook page will get you there with just a modicum of knowledge. You really don't need to have a lot of knowledge about SEO to really make your Facebook page fire on all cylinders. Okay, I'm just going to run through a couple of Facebook basics and then we'll get into some of the tips. If you're going to create a Facebook page, and I am aware that we've got mixed abilities here, if you're going to create a Facebook page, you're going to create it from your Facebook personal profile. And you're going to click in that little arrow, it's a tiny little thing in the top right-hand corner of your profile, and then you will see a menu item there that says Create Page. Now, it will not say manage pages unless you manage multiple pages, as I do. I've got several pages in my section. So until you've created a page, you won't have that manage page in the drop-down menu there. Now, I just want to give you a couple of tips about creating a page, and I am actually going to show it to you on a live screen in a moment or two. If you haven't seen that image that you're seeing on the screen right now that says local business or place, company, organization or institution, brand or product, if you haven't set up your page and seen those options, then you may well have done it wrong, because every page that you ever create for a business needs to go through that process. Now, you need to choose whatever the most appropriate of those options is. But what I would recommend that you do, when you click on one of those boxes, you're going to be presented with some terms and conditions for Facebook. I would really recommend that at least once in your Facebook career that you take a look at those. Those terms and conditions are fairly simple. We're all familiar with the legalese that we get normally on websites. The terms and conditions are actually pretty simple on Facebook. They're worth a skim just to make sure that you're not doing anything wrong. But to be honest with you, they're not really going to create any problems for you. The other tip that I always give people when they're creating brand new Facebook pages, people tend to create a page and it doesn't have a banner on. Hopefully you're going to use canva.com as I recommended to create your Facebook banner. And it doesn't have an avatar on. And by avatar, I mean your personal image, your mugshot, your face, or your company logo. We tend to call those avatars. It doesn't have anything on yet, and you probably haven't even created any content. And the first thing people tend to do when they create their brand new Facebook page is they're so excited to have created it, they share it. Well, my recommendation to you is don't do that. Don't share your page until you've got a little bit of content on it, until there's something for people to see. Because if you think about it, this is representing your business. Now, the minute your friends see it, they're going to be all over it, supporting you, sharing it, passing it on, and actually, you're not ready for that just yet. So if you look at the bottom of the screen of this slide, I've shown you how if you go to your page, click on the settings, click on the General tab, there is a page visibility option. And what I would recommend that you're doing, while you're just building your page and just getting it right and messing around with it and experimenting, just unpublish the page, unpublish it. When you unpublish the page, that means that you can work on it quite merrily, no one can see it, no one can find it, you can make it look beautiful, and when you've made it look beautiful, make sure you publish it again, otherwise no one's going to see it when you share it, and then you're good to go. But I think too many people, when they start Facebook pages, they rush in there, they're keen to get people sharing it, and you have to say to yourself, well, how does this page represent my business? Is it looking good? Is it attractive to people? Are they going to be interested in the business the way it looks at the moment? And if the answer is no, then it's not time to share it. You need to get a little bit of content on it first. Now, I am going to I'm going to go into Facebook. I'm going to let you see my screen in a moment or two. But I just wanted to show you this blog post. This is, I mentioned postplanner.com as being one of my favorite destinations for social media tips and advice. This is the second of my favorite websites, socialmediaexaminer.com. If you're really serious about picking up some great marketing tips regularly for social media, then make sure you're checking out socialmediaexaminer.com very, very regularly. It's a great site. This is an article that I particularly recommend to you because it will help you to get the SEO sorted, the search engine optimization sorted out on your Facebook page. I'll just let you jot that link down while I take a sip of water. Okay. We'll be moving to the screen in a moment or two. I just want to talk you through the Facebook Vanity Technique. So I'll talk you through these things, then I'll show them on a screen. What is the Facebook Vanity Technique? Well, actually, it's the highest level of SEO when creating your business pages on Facebook. And remember, by SEO, I mean search engine optimization. And search engine optimization means that when I look for you on Google or whatever search engine I'm using, it means I can find you, that you're visible in the search engines. Now, when you create a Facebook page, you put your name in, and it's followed, the web link that you get for your Facebook page is followed by a whole lot of jumbled numbers and nonsense. Not very useful at all. And that's not very shareable. You can create, using the Facebook Vanity Technique, you can create your own bespoke web link for your Facebook page. And I see many business owners who haven't even done this, who don't do this. So it's very important to do that, and I'll show you on the slides here how you do it, and I'll show you it on the screen in a moment or two. So if you look at the bottom left-hand slide, by clicking on the About section on your Facebook page, there is a section for a username, and that is the bit that you need to brand, that you need to put your SEO friendly name in. Now, you've seen on the example there on the right-hand side, if we were doing the Cumbria Chamber of Commerce page, we would want it to say Cumbria Chamber of Commerce. Now, here's another great thing that you can do with Facebook pages. You can actually capitalize. So if you've got a long username like Cumbria Chamber of Commerce, can you see on the slides there how I've capitalized the Cumbria, the Chamber, and the Commerce? Because that makes the web link more readable for a human reader. But also, what are people going to search for online? They're going to search for Cumbria Chamber of Commerce. So we need to get that top, what I call the top level SEO. What are people going to look for? We need to put that into our username. So make it descriptive. Try not to make it too long. I mean, Cumbria Chamber of Commerce, frankly, is longer than I would normally like. But actually, in terms of search engine optimization, that's what you're going to be looking for on the web. So we're a bit stuck with that long username. We could put Cumbria Chamber on there if we wanted to experiment with that, but Cumbria Chamber of Commerce really is what people are going to look for, so we're kind of stuck with that. We've got a limit of 50 characters. So the rules really are, think about the most important thing that people are going to search for you for on Google, and that's what you need to be putting in there. It's probably going to be the name of the business. The name of the business is probably what you're going to put in there. But if you are a sole trader, if it's just you, if you're the business and it's your name, then put your name in there. But you've got 50 characters, right? It's not a race to use them all. I would always say go as short as you can, but as search engine friendly as you can. Don't race to use all those 50 characters because you'll end up with this unwieldy link for your Facebook page, and that's not a great thing to do. So let's just go to Facebook now. I'm just going to come away from my slides, and I'm just going to come to a Facebook page. Now, interestingly, I'm just getting the Chamber of Commerce going on Facebook. So what I was saying to you about, don't launch with an empty page, I've just been chugging away some content on this page so that we've got some content on there when we start to share it. And I've just shared that link in the chat box for you. So if you'd like to go over there now and like that page, because we're trying to get that going, that would be very handy for me, and then it helps us to keep in contact with you. But this is effectively, it's a fairly new page, it's fairly undeveloped, but it's the Chamber Business Growth Hub page. Now, at the top of that page, our link currently is facebook.com/Cumbria Business Growth Hub, then a load of numbers. And those numbers are not very good. I'm not very happy with those numbers. That's not very shareable. If I put that on a brochure or a letterhead, for instance, that's going to look awful. We need something that's more branded. So we could go into the About section, and we could go into the Edit Page Info, to edit all of our information there, but in this case, in actual fact, I don't need to go as deep as that. I want to go into the username area just here. So let me just go and get my magic pen out so I can highlight that on your screen. If I just highlight that for you there, we're just here on the screen. So to create that bespoke username, we click on that button, and I would then go Cumbria Business Growth Hub, and then we can click on Create Username. If it's not available, Facebook will tell us. Now, what that will then do is give us a much neater Facebook link. So if I click Create Username now, it's always tempting fate. There we go. It's always tempting fate when you do this on a live webinar. But what's happened now, if I just put this in your chat box so that you can look at it, you've now got a web link that is facebook.com/Cumbria Business Growth Hub. That is a lovely keyworded name, very lovely for search engine optimization, and it's branded nicely too. We haven't got any of those horrible numbers, and we can actually put that now, we could put that much more easily onto our letterheads and our advertising materials. So I really recommend that you do that. I just want to go and show you a couple of other things that we've just talked about on the slides. When you go to create a Facebook page, a brand new Facebook page, you do it up here. Excuse the terrible drawing on the screen there, but to do that, we click on the arrow, and you would click Create Page. Now you'll see here that I have got lots of pages that I manage. So I manage a couple of my own, and I manage the Chambers pages there as well. So to create a brand new page, we could either click that Create Page button there, but if you're doing this for the first time, you'll just click on the menu there, Create Page, and then there is that menu that I told you that you would be seeing. This is the correct way to create a Facebook page. And why this confuses people is you've got to do this when you're logged into Facebook, and people think, oh no, they're going to see all my personal photographs. They're not connected. They're connected through you because you are the page administrator. But just because somebody's connected to your business page does not mean they can see your personal profile. You have to accept them as a friend for them to see what's going on your personal profile. So if I just very quickly show you what we would do here, you'd click on local business or place, and if I just get my highlighter pen on just here, I just want to show you here in this area, that's where the terms and conditions are, and I would recommend that you just take a look at the terms and conditions there, just so that you know what you're signing up for, because you are agreeing to those when you create a page on Facebook. Let me just get rid of the highlighter. There we go. And if I go backwards there and take us back to the Growth Hub page. The other thing that I want to talk about is SEO. Now, I gave you an article on the page. I did suggest a good article to look at on Social Media Examiner, but I just want to show you where the key SEO, search engine optimization area, is on a Facebook page. Many people in their rush to create a Facebook page skip this, and it is actually one of the most important things that you can do. When you're in this area, this page info area, what I'd like you to do is to go in there and to fill this in as comprehensively as you can, particularly this description area here, that description area. And in that description area, you need to be writing the name of the business, and you need to, in a way that is easily readable by human beings, put your keywords in there. So, for instance, Cumbria Business Growth Hub probably wants to say something like, well, the keywords probably are Cumbria and business. So we need to make sure that we've got Cumbria and business in there too. But we've also got things like advice, training, networking. These are all business-related keywords that relate to what we do. So you think about, when you're writing this, it must read nicely for humans. What I don't want you to do is just put a list of words in there, because that's kind of cheating the search engines and it never really pays off. So don't do that. So what you must do, though, is just think about your business, describe it as if you were describing it to a human being or to a customer in the way that you normally talk about your business, but make sure it's got lots of keywords in there. And that, combined with you customizing your web link for Facebook, is going to really help you get found in the search engines. To be honest with you, with Facebook, it's not much more complicated than that. It's as simple as that. And because Facebook is such a massive site and has so much traffic, you'll find that your business page gets indexed and found by the search engines a lot faster than your DIY website does. Now, I'm not going to go into the reasons for why that is. SEO is quite a complex area, but what I want to show you in this training is how you could beat the system. You could jump to the front of the queue, and you could do this for yourself using social media. So what I would recommend you do, please go through that section as fully as you can. I'm going to talk about it a little bit more in a moment or two. Complete that as fully as you can, because remember, this is front of house for your business. You need to be as comprehensive as you can here. You need to tell people everything they can about their business, because it's, to me, it's like if your Facebook page is not completed properly, if you don't give us every bit of information that you possibly can, it's like me coming in up to your shop and the door's locked. I can sort of look through the window and I can see something's going on there, but I can't really get any detail. So fill this in comprehensively and know that people will be able to find you on Facebook, online, very easily once you've followed these SEO techniques. Okay, so hopefully that's okay. Hopefully I'm not going too fast for everybody. I'm just going to have a quick look at the chat box. Great to see. Oh, Annie's just done it for the Appleby Tennis Club. Thank you, Annie. You've just renamed it by the sounds of it. And if you've got any questions, or if I haven't gone over anything sufficiently well, just pop a little question in the chat box, and I'll be happy to go over it if I haven't been clear enough. Remember though that you're going to get the slides, so I know sometimes that people are looking at this on small screens, maybe on mobile phones. You'll get the slides, you'll get them in full Technicolor, and you'll be able to have a good close look at this and come back to it and watch the replay of the video if you need to, and then go back at your own pace. So let's carry on. Good. Everybody seems happy with what we're doing. Kate's saying that business categories used to be very restrictive. Yeah, Kate, they still are, and really it evolves. All I can recommend to you with the business categories is that you just have to pick the best one that Facebook gives you. And unfortunately, it is very USA orientated. We're kind of stuck with what they give us, and often you can't quite get you can't quite get what you want. It doesn't quite describe your business correctly. So in that case, you're just going to have to go. You're just going to have to do as best as you can. Karen's saying, are you going to cover paid advertising on Facebook? Yes, I am, Karen. What's the time now? Yeah, we should be able to fit that in before the end. I'm going to mention paid advertising. Okay, let's crack on with the presentation. Try and get through as much as we can today, and go back to the slides, and just run you through 5 fabulous Facebook tips now. So the first fabulous Facebook tip, and this is one that people miss, it's really, really important. It's your simple call to action button that Facebook gives you on your front page. Now, what is a call to action? You will just see a blue button in the top right-hand corner of your Facebook page. In internet marketing terms, we call this a CTA, a call to action button. Now, this is what I call valuable real estate on your Facebook page. The truth is that most people are going to see your content on Facebook in their Facebook feed. Most people are not going to come to your Facebook page and look at your content. They're going to just consume it. Once they've liked your page, they'll consume your posts within their Facebook feed. So we need to make the most, when they do come to your page, we need to make the most of that opportunity. Now, I'd like you all, if you're listening to this webinar right now, to make sure that you have something on that add a button button. Now, at the very least, it should be a link, say, to a contact page. What I would prefer it to be is something that's more sales oriented. So it might be a link to your latest brochure. It might be a link to your sales page. It could be a link to a video where somebody's describing your product or service. And if you want to use it in a really clever marketing way, you can combine 2 of the tricks that I've told you this evening. One of those is that you could use Canva, and the other trick is that you could actually use Canva to pop an arrow that points at that button and says, click here for our latest brochure, or click here for a special discount code. Something like that that's more salesy. So the call to action button is a really crucial part of any Facebook page. And let me just go back to the button here, and let me just show you what it looks like. This is the call to action page, and mine's set up already, but yours, if you've set it up already, you can edit it by clicking edit. If it's not set up already, then it will look like mine did on the slide. So I'm going to click on edit button and just show you quite how simple this is. All you've got to do is cut and paste a web link into there, and that web link can be anything. A YouTube video, it could be a web link to a PDF version of your brochure. The world is your oyster with this. Think creatively about it, but think, what is the one thing that I could share that would bring customers into our business? Now, if you like to give tutorials to people, if you have meetings with people, you're a consultant, then it might be a quarter-hour sample consultation. Have a link to your consultation page, but link it to your most wanted action for customers, whether that's telephoning you, watching your video, getting your brochure, whatever it is. But use and sweat that button. It's there for a reason, and if you want to be really clever with it, then create a little arrow on your banner using canva.com and actually have an arrow pointing to it and saying, click here to get the latest brochure, click here to get 20% off, click here to get a half-hour consultation session for free, and make it into a very proactive call to action. So that's what we call the CTA button, the call to action button. It's a really crucial part of your marketing. Okay, we'll run through the slides, and then I think what I'll do is I'll show you them actually on the screen. If you are a physical business, then you should make sure you've got the map set up and you enable check-ins. Now, check-ins are great because when people come in and they can see you on the phone, they can check in on their mobile phone, all their friends see it, and that's really good for this element of virality. So to do that, you need to go, it's on the slides there, you click on the About tab, you need to find the Has a Street Address section, check the box, enter your address. Facebook will bring in your street address and your little dot, your little purple icon there, and then you should check the box to show check-ins on the page, and that will create virality. Now, this is for physical businesses rather than, if I normally work at home, for instance, so I wouldn't want people knocking at the front door, so I wouldn't put my home address on. But obviously for the Chamber of Commerce, we're an open organisation, you can walk through the door, so where people can walk through the door and come into your business, you need to put that on a map. Now here's something that's really important, a really big tip if you're running a business. If you're running a business, are you the only person who is connected to your page? If you are, you're quite vulnerable. Now, I would always recommend that you have an additional page administrator on every Facebook business page. If you don't, you're very vulnerable. If Facebook decides that you're doing something they don't like, or they lock you down, or you've done something wrong, and you've got to go to the Facebook Court of Appeal, as I call it, then you may find that you've got no access to your business page. Now again, I've talked to people who are using Facebook business pages that this has happened to, and they've been locked out their page, and that's a disaster, frankly, if you're locked out of your page. So it's always good to add a second administrator. Now make sure they're an administrator, not an editor, an administrator. And I usually say apply the credit card test with this. Would you trust somebody with your PIN number to get you £10 out of the bank? Because this person, when you make them an administrator on this page, they can delete the account. So you need to make sure you can trust them if you're going to add them as a joint administrator. And I'll show you that on the screen in a moment or two. Another top tip for your Facebook business page is to pin posts to the top of the page. And the posts that you pin to the top of the page, like a tongue twister this, the post that you pin to the top of the page should generally be a marketing post, something that is related to getting people into your business or showing you off. So if you've just got an award, that's a great post to pin to the top of the page. If you've just got a new catalogue out, that's a great post. If you've got a new sales promo on, or a 20% offer, or a free coffee when we come into your cafe, pin that to the top of the page, because that then will always stay at the top of your posts. People will always see it first when they come to your Facebook business page. But it should always be your current offer, your current message of the moment, whatever that is. And to pin any post to the top of the page, you just click the little arrow. You can see it on the screen there. Again, if you can't quite see it, if you're on a small screen, you'll see it on the slides. Little arrow there, and you can post any post, pin any post to the top of the page. Very good for your message of the moment, if you've got a marketing message. Another handy tip is to pin your page to shortcuts. Now, when you get several pages, it could be a bit of a labyrinth on Facebook trying to get to your Facebook business pages really quickly. So if you go to the settings area, which I've marked on the screen now, I'll just go and highlight my cursor so you can see it. Let me just go to the cursor just here. If you go to the settings area on your Facebook page, click on the general button and click on the shortcuts, which is right at the top of that area. Click on the edit button and pin your page to your shortcuts, and then you will find that it's always easy to get to. You don't have to go hunting for it. And if you have more than one Facebook page, that's actually a really handy tip to know, because it's really hard to find your pages otherwise. Oh, I've just skipped there. There we go. It's just skipped. So let's go away from the slides there, and let me just talk you through that on the screen. So some of those tips on the screen. So this is where we would add the map in this section here. So it's about, we click on the about, edit page info, click the has a street address button, and then in this area just here, just go and highlight my cursor that you can see that clearly on the screen. In this area here, put your postcode in and your address, and Facebook will bring your map in just there. That's essential if you are a physical business to do that. Okay, what else did we show you in those tips? Page roles is the other thing. Now, I'll just highlight my cursor again. In the settings button just up here, this is where I am, in the settings area. Click on the settings. This is where the page pinning area is. So just check pin page to your shortcuts. Incidentally, this is where the page visibility is. So if I wanted to unpublish that page so you can't look at it while I'm working on it, when I'm just trying to get some decent content on it, that's the page that I would click just there. And the page role section that I told you about, this is the page role section. You can see that on our page we've got several page administrators here, just to make sure that we don't get locked out of our page. But the tip for doing this is, let me just go and get my highlighter so you can see where I am. Let me just highlight that here. Apologies for the drawing. It's very hard to do that. You would type somebody's name or email there. If you're connected to them, you can put their name. If you're not connected to them, then you can put their email. And a top tip here, you just need to make sure that that's set to admin. For some reason, it defaults to editor, probably for security reasons, to be honest with you. But just make sure you click that to admin, and make sure that you have a second administrator on that screen, because that's going to serve you very well. The other thing that I want to show you, let me just get rid of my drawing on the screen there. This is a pinned post. So this week we've got our business networking lunch with John Stevenson at the Holson Hotel. So that's what is our message of the moment, if you want. It's our marketing message of the moment. So that's why I pin that to the top of the Facebook page. If I wanted to replace that, let's go and find something else here. Let's go and replace that with the Made in Cumbria hampers, the perfect Valentine's Day gift, which is something else we're promoting at the moment. I'll show you how I would pin that. Let me just highlight where I am so you can see that. I'm just going to click on a little arrow there, which might not be very clear on your screens. If I click on that button, pin to the top of the page refreshes, and that is now my pinned post at the top of that page. Okay, just a moment for questions, and I'm going to talk to you in the last few minutes about some advertising techniques. Okay. Colin is saying that a cartoonist is available for drawings in the next webinar. Yes, yes. I'm never going to make a cartoonist with those drawing skills, Colin, am I? Okay. I'll go through, what I will do is I will go through the questions at the end of the webinar, and I'm very happy to stay on for sort of 10 minutes, a quarter of an hour, but I'll do the teaching right now, and then I'm happy to hang on when the teaching is finished just to go through some personal questions. Okay. Let's go into ads. Now, I usually teach Facebook advertising and advanced techniques on Facebook advertising. It takes me a day to do it properly because there are 3 tiers of Facebook advertising. The one that you're probably most familiar with, most people have had a go at doing something called boosting post, but the highest level of Facebook advertising is called Power Editor. And you could do amazing things with Power Editor. Now, I teach Power Editor over a day, usually, because there is so much to teach. So this is just going to be a taster. It's just going to show you what's possible. But if it's something that you feel that you would like to do in your business, or it's something that you're not aware of that you want to learn more about, then start asking the chamber to run a Facebook session. I'll be very delighted to do that if you've got enough people who are interested in that, and I'll show you exactly how to do it. But it's not something you can teach in 10 minutes. It's quite technical. I need to talk you through a lot of marketing processes. But let me just give you a taster for this. This is our Made in Cumbria page, and most of the time, if you're doing a little bit of advertising on Facebook, you would boost a post. Now, until fairly recently, I would have said to you, don't boost posts. They've got much better than they used to be. But boosting posts is not generally the best way to advertise on Facebook. The best way is to do it through something called Power Editor, which I will show you before we finish the presentation tonight. Now, if you were to boost a post, let me just show you what this would do. And I just have to say to you that because I actually do pay for advertising, that mine is going to look a little bit different to what yours looks like. You're going to see some options on mine because I've got a credit card connected to it, and because I've already done a lot of marketing activity on Facebook. You are going to see a few things that you wouldn't see on your own advertising area. But the key components here are that when we boost a post, we get to choose the audience that see it. Now, as a general rule of thumb, I'm not going to recommend that you pay for people who to see it who like your page, or people who like your page and the friends. The only reason I would recommend that usually is if you are something like, I don't know, you run a yoga class or something like that, and you have local classes, and the people who are on your page are virtually exclusively the only people who ever attend your class. If they are your customers, and there's a handful of them who just want to talk to your customers, then by all means boost it so that people who like your page can see it. But remember, you're kind of paying twice, because if you put a post on your page, they're seeing it anyway, in theory. So you're paying for them to see it twice. Now, they may not have seen it in their feed, they may have ignored it, and when you're paying, you're forcing it into their Facebook feed. But remember, when you pay to put a post on the page of people who like your page already, you're paying for people who already can see it in theory. So I'm generally more interested in creating a brand new audience. That's really what I'm interested in doing. I want to create a brand new audience. And we could do some fantastic targeting in here. So if I just use, well, I'm not going to use Kendall as an example tonight, because I know that sometimes we just get into a little postcode issue with Kendall, because I've taught it at the mid-works, and I know we get into little issues sometimes. But let me just give you an example of how boosting posts would work. If you wanted to run, for instance, a gardening club for over 50s men in the Carlisle area. So I would select my demographic. So Carlisle, I'd label it like this: Carlisle men 50 plus. So I set my ages to 50 to 65 plus. I'm going to make my geographical area Carlisle. Make sure you get the right Carlisle, by the way. And we can add additional locations if we want, and we can tie down the radius. Now I'm going to say I want a 10-mile radius of Carlisle, because that's a reasonable distance for people to travel for my event. Now, you can use interests when you're boosting posts, but what you will tend to find with very localized audiences is that they make it so specific you're not really getting a very exciting audience. If I just save this now, you will see on my screen that with that fairly broad demographic, we're getting 470 to 1,200 people who are precisely the kind of gentleman that I'm looking for. So let's pretend it's an over 50s gentleman's gardening club or something like that. And I only need 10 to make the club full. Now, for £16 over a period of, I think it's 7 days, we can reach 470 to 1,200 people in that demographic. Now that is very, very targeted advertising, because we're not hitting, I've defined this by gender for this example, but we only want men who are 50 plus. I'm not interested in anybody else. So when I boost this post, I can make sure that only those people see that post. So I think that targeting posts could be very, very good locally. If you're targeting a very specific audience, try not to tie it down too much with interest, because you'll find if you start to put things like gardening in there, you'll start to diminish those numbers until they're virtually meaningless, because you are dealing with a limited audience. However, if your audience is a national audience, you won't have that same problem. You could actually dive down a little bit more into interests. Now, I did say this is going to be a brief session on ads because we don't have a lot of time today, but let me just show you what I think is the holy grail of promotion, and that is Power Editor. Power Editor. This is what if you're serious about Facebook editing, Facebook advertising, this is what you need to be looking at, Power Editor. And the joy of Power Editor is that you can create huge marketing lists on Facebook. Now these are my personal marketing lists. We're not getting into this yet with the Chamber. It's early days with my work with the Chamber. But so I'm just a single operator. And if you have a look at the sizes of these lists that I'm able to target, 5 million, 250,000, these are lists that I can target on Facebook, and I've defined these lists in different ways. But the most powerful way to target people through Power Editor is if you have a mailing list of customers. So here is my MailChimp account, and I only use this for training. Let me just go back to my lists very quickly here. There we go. I use this for training. I don't use this in anger, but I've got some lists here. If I can actually target on Facebook all of these subscribers simply by downloading their names and email addresses and then importing them. If I click Create Audiences in my Facebook Power Editor area, I can create a custom audience here. I can click on Customer File, and then I can either import directly from MailChimp if MailChimp's what you use, or I could just import my CSV data, my Excel spreadsheet file effectively that I just downloaded. I can import all of my customer information, and then all of the customers that are on Facebook, I can target them specifically within Facebook. Now here's the next great thing about Power Editor. When I've done that, and let me just show you, these are my audiences here. I started with audiences of 3,000, 9,000, 13,000. These are my own personal email list audiences. I can then create lookalike audiences. And what Facebook does is it looks at the kind of people who are subscribing to me on my emails, and it finds people who are just like them and lets me target them. So I can start with a list as small as something like 3,200 people, and I could then target it on a lookalike audience to people like 1 million and 2 million people. Now that is a phenomenal marketing tool, and that's why you need to have on your personal radar, you need to have Facebook's Power Editor on your radar, because you can target amazing, huge, and very focused audiences using Power Editor. Now, I know we're all at different stages in our Facebook careers, but if you are running a slightly bigger business where you've got an audience database, you need to learn about Power Editor. You absolutely need to take the time to learn about Power Editor. If you're a small business, maybe you're just learning about Facebook and it's new to you, that's fine. You don't need to dive straight in with Power Editor, but keep it on your radar, because it's something that you do need to know about. It's something that every business can use. Okay, that is our hour up, can you believe? I hope that I've managed to put something in there for everybody, and I am happy to answer some questions at the end. So if you want to pop your questions on now, I'm very happy to answer those. But just to talk about the next steps before you leave this evening, I'm going to put the replay of this video online tomorrow, first thing tomorrow morning before I go into the office. We will send you out an automated email in 24 hours time, and you will then get access to the slides. Somebody asked me to put them in PDF format. I'll put them in PDF format for you, and you will also get the replay of this video, so you can watch it again, stop and start it, and do it in your own time. Now, the link that we're going to send you is the link that you can see on my screen right now, cumbriagrowthhub.co.uk/webinars/Facebook. Now at the moment, you'll see there are just little gaps for the slides of the video. It will be there within 24 hours because I've got to process it, obviously. We haven't even finished the recording yet. So I will get that done within 24 hours. Keep checking that page. It will probably be there, frankly, by about 11 o'clock tomorrow, but you will get an automated email tomorrow saying thanks for attending, and you'll get the link again. If you'd like to sign up for next week's webinar, which we'll be doing the same again with Twitter, then you can do so via this link. I'm running another 3 webinars. We're doing Twitter, we're doing email marketing, and we're doing WordPress. These are all things that I teach for the Chamber, so if you ever see one of my courses for the Chamber of Commerce, sign up and you'll be able to immerse yourself in all of this for a day. Clearly we've only got limited time with an hour, but I'll make that time as useful as I can for you. But if you'd like to go to that link now, you can sign up straight away for all the other webinars. Do it now while you remember, and then you'll get all the automated reminders to make sure you don't miss it, and it's all done. 3 webinars, all for free, courtesy of Cumbria Chamber of Commerce. And then just one last thing that I want to mention to you. If you are thinking of using Facebook to sell goods or services outside the UK, you are engaging what is called e-exporting. You're exporting, even though you're doing it online. And we can help you with that. So if you'd like to speak to Catherine Dunson, Catherine's name is on the screen there, about exporting or e-exporting support, we can help with that. There's the telephone number on the page there, 0844 257 8450, or just email Catherine direct at catherine@cumbriachamber.co.uk.